Well, I have some explaining to do now, don't I? How could I be recommending My Dress Up Darling when I've publicly docked other series for fan service? As well as finding slow opposites attract rom-coms like Usagi-chan rather mediocre? Well, for me, it's the characters and the dynamic they share. For those not in the know, what is My Dress Up Darling? It's a series about Wakane Gojo, an aspiring Hina doll maker who is a social outcast getting pulled into making cosplay outfits for the outgoing Marin Kitagawa, creating an unlikely duo. So, where does this work for me? I think one of the factors is that the guy in this duo is actually well defined. In a series where a manic pixie girl pulls her less sociable counterpart around, it's very easy for her character to overwhelm and eclipse her counterpart. For example, I believe Usagi very much dominates her counterpart in the personality department, but Gojo has an established goal and personality. He wants to be a Hina doll maker, but as a kid he was told by a girl that his interest in dolls was disgusting. This causes him to become an introvert, as he hides and focuses on his goal. But he also has struggles, as he has issues with making the faces and capturing the emotions for the dolls, but excels in making the detailed outfits. Thus, after a bit of studying, he can make the jump to full-size outfits, which the series shows that he's still learning and improving at. But through his partnership with Marin, he starts to better understand emotions, through his talks with her and other cosplayers, so he is getting something out of this. He also plays a very important role as a straight man in the comedy duo. The gag of him excitedly listening to Marin's cosplay ideas, blissfully unaware of the anime she's talking about, only to learn the context and sell it wonderfully. It always gets a laugh from me. As for his counterpart, Marin is a great people's person and excels in face makeup but sucks at sewing. But she's very good at pushing Gojo to be more sociable, and she eventually starts to develop feelings for him, even loving him. But her little tells that the less experienced Gojo doesn't pick up on. But outside of our duo, I also strongly appreciate how serious he takes the cosplay hobby. It's not just thrown in for flavor. We get to see the various drawings and sketches Gojo's make before he starts sewing, and if you're on Crunchyroll, the subtitles for them are top-notch. But the events they go to, the discussions of which characters complement their body types, and even the different cameras and filters for photography, mean that if you're very into the craft, you should appreciate some of the various ways they incorporate it into the series. Now let's talk about fan service. As I did mention in a previous video that I would talk about it when I talked about this series. In the case of the series, it starts off a bit heavier in the earlier parts and then tapers off as we get later into the series. Most scenes come from Marin just showing off her body, especially during the measurement scene. I could he and haw about certain seconds here and there, but I don't really feel the need to do that, mainly because Marin is very much in control about how much fan service she actually gives. She openly chooses to cosplay more promiscuous characters, knowing full well what she is showing. She may blush every now and then, given that she's showing off in front of the person she loves, but she remains in control. To segue into my rules for fan service is fine as long as it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's attached to a character who's using it for a purpose, and for me, the biggest thing is that the character in question is in control of the situation. As if a character is being forced into it, that's gross. But if a character is like, oh yeah, I'm rocking this outfit and I'm down to show it off, and that's perfectly fine. For the example of Marin, she very much decides on what she's going to show, and is doing it for the purpose of cosplay, satisfying rule 2 and 3 for me. I also don't exactly remember any moments of it overstaying, and making me say, alright, can we move on already? That's not to say that there are no moments like that, as I can only speak from my experience, and that goes the same for my rules. Some people will be fine with more, and some won't be able to handle as much as I am. But in summary, if you enjoy slow rom-coms, are a fan of cosplay, or looking for one of the best girls from winter 2022, I feel that My Dress Up Darling should be high on your to-watch list. As even for all its corny faults, it's somehow equally wholesome, and I quite enjoy my time with it.